So, we all do it right. Click I agree without even glancing at the text.
Yeah, absolutely. Seems like a quick shortcut.
But maybe it's, costing us something.
Mhm.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're trying to make sense of those endless terms and conditions.
Mhm.
Our mission really is to help you figure out what actually matters in all that legal text. What are we giving up? What's hiding in there?
It makes sense why people skip them, though. I mean, who has the time?
Exactly. They're so long and dense.
And you don't really see any immediate downside to just clicking through, right? It
Yeah.
feels harmless at the time.
Okay, so if we were going to pay attention, what are the really critical things? What should we, scan for?
Well, a big theme is usually limitations. Companies limiting their own responsibility.
How so? Like what?
For example, clauses saying they're not liable for losses, even if their service fails badly. Data usage is another huge one.
Right. What they do with your information.
Exactly. How they use it, store it, maybe share it. Then you often find arbitration clauses.
Meaning you can't sue them in court.
Often, yeah. It means disputes get handled privately outside the court system. And don't forget automatic renewals. They can keep charging you if you're not careful.
Okay, so we've clicked, I agree, didn't read a word. Is that actually binding legally?
Yeah, that's the tricky part. Generally, the law works on this principle of agreement by conduct.
Meaning the click itself is the agreement.
Pretty much. By clicking I agree, you're usually signaling you accept the terms, read or not. The law often treats that click as, well, your consent.
And that's how companies limit their liability. You mentioned that earlier. Can you give an example?
Sure. So imagine your cloud storage service loses all your files.
Oh, nightmare scenario.
Right. But their terms might say their maximum liability is, say, the cost of 1 month's subscription or something minimal like that, even if your lost files were worth thousands.
Wow. So they define their own limits up front.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Makes you wonder if companies ever slip in really, outrageous things.
Well, while we don't have specific wild examples here, the potential for really unexpected or very one-sided clauses definitely exists. It's why even a quick scan can be smart.
Okay, but can we ever push back?
Yep.
Can negotiate these terms for, a regular app or website?
Honestly, for most everyday consumer things online, no. It's almost always a take it or leave it deal.
Thought so.
Now, maybe for large business-to-business contracts or very specialized services, there might be some room, but for the average user, not really feasible.
So when we click accept, what kinds of rights are we typically handing over?
Good question. Often you're giving them pretty broad rights to use your data, sometimes even rights to use content you create or upload.
Like photos or posts?
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
And you're usually agreeing to their specific process for sorting out disagreements like that arbitration thing. You're basically saying, okay, we'll play by your rules.
And what if we feel those rules are just totally unfair? What can we actually do?
It's tough, unfortunately. Challenging standard form contracts in court is difficult and expensive.
Because you technically agreed.
Exactly. Courts tend to uphold them based on that agreement by conduct. You'd usually need to show something major was wrong, like the terms were deliberately hidden or outright fraudulent, which is hard to prove.
Okay, this feels a bit daunting. Is there any practical advice? How can we spot the risky bits quickly without reading for hours?
Yeah, you don't need to read every word. Focus your attention. Look for the headings.
Like section titles.
Right. Scan for sections like limitation of liability, privacy policy, dispute resolution, sometimes user content. Those are key.
And within those sections.
Look for keywords or phrases. Under liability, watch out for things like not responsible for, sole remedy, or specific low-dollar caps. For privacy, look for share data with third parties, use data for marketing. Anything that sounds unusually broad or gives them a lot of power over your stuff.
Okay, focus on headings, key sections. Look for those kinds of phrases. That seems more manageable.
It is. It's about being strategic.
Is there any trend towards making these things easier to understand? Are companies simplifying them at all?
There is actually some movement towards that. Some companies are trying to use simpler language, maybe provide summaries, more transparency.
That would definitely help.
For sure. It could empower users to actually know what they're signing up for.
So wrapping this up, the main takeaway seems to be, don't just blindly click. Even a quick, focused look at the key parts of terms and conditions can give you more control and maybe save you some trouble later on.
Absolutely. It might feel tedious, but that little bit of attention really can help safeguard your interests.
It protects you.
Yeah. And it leads to a final thought, really. We live in a world run by these digital agreements now. So how can we, individuals, society, push for more fairness and transparency in these contracts we barely look at?
Something definitely worth thinking about next time that I agree box pops up.